Have you ever had that problem kid, problem adult in terms of getting them to be with the group and motivated and engaged? And if so, what did you do with those people?
Everybody has had this kid or this adult. And if you were to listen to one thing, I'd say in all of these series, I'd like you to listen to this one thing.
Welcome to Choir Success, where we explore today's best practices for running choirs and choruses. I'm Tom Metzger. Today, we'll be talking to Donny Rose in episode 4 of How to Build a Successful Choir, where you'll get many valuable insights about how to build and manage your choir. In this episode, we'll discuss engagement and motivation and how to get it in your group. This video is generously sponsored by Choir Genius. More on them later. Donny Rose, welcome back to the show. We have episode 4 now. We're going to talk about engagement and motivation, both very, very important topics for choirs and choruses alike. So what are some strategies that you use to keep the singers in your groups motivated?
I think number one is I try not to do anything for longer than 15 minutes if I can, maybe 20 minutes.
Attention span.
Yeah. Well, people, if we've all been in a rehearsal where it's a slog and the director refuses to give up and those 40 minutes feel like 5 hours, it's just bad. It isn't working. So having a plan to kind of pivot, because most people's attention span, it just feels good to do different things. I also love when different people get in front of the room. I'm proud of how I am in front of the room, but I'm better when a different person, whether it's a student or a caring adult, or if I'm working with an adult choir, a coach or a different person comes up in front. My favorite thing the last 10 years is to have mini sectionals that are like 60 seconds or 2 minutes on the risers. And it's like, and section leaders talk to people, break, and then there's and then these little clusters of people get together. And what's wonderful is now that person who's really concerned about the riser placement, or now that person is really concerned about the note that the altos are missing, or whatever, they can just kind of spew that out.
Get an outlet.
Yeah, get it out of their system.
Rather than sitting there feeling frustrated.
Right, and when they're feeling frustrated, it's like kids that are hungry. The reason why we feed kids is not because we're necessarily philanthropists. It's because kids can't learn because they're thinking, I'm hungry. They can't think about anything else. Mm-hmm. And so it is with people who are mad. I'm mad. I can't hear anything. I'm being blocked by my riser placement. I can't listen. We have to fix these things. So those kind of breaks are cool. I think the other kind of engagement piece is there has to be fun stuff. I like to do opportunities where we sing for each other. So I'll have, for example, if it's a small ensemble, say 16, I'll have 8 people off the risers turn around and face the other people, 8 people one-on-one, and say, and make eye contact for an uncomfortably long time and sing this section of the song. Mm-hmm. And usually it's really moving. And now tell that person what that felt like. Great. Now we're going to have 14 people up front and 2 people out here, and they're going to watch you and they're going to give feedback to everybody they see, or whatever. We can just kind of switch it up so that now different people have different roles. This is if you feel like, kind of things are kind of dragging. I need to kind of get a little juice in the room.
Pacing, energy, variety. Yeah. But you need a toolbox. You need to have a ton of things that you can draw on to keep it that way.
I like it too, because we've all been in rooms where the rehearsal is flowing and there's no reason to stop. But usually we just kind of need to change it up. And that's why I like to have a go-to set of people in the room that I can just call out front and say, hey, Tom, come and check this out. And then usually, if Tom knows ahead of time that I'm going to call him, he's not like caught off guard or whatever. And this is kids or adults too. And then if your thing is musicality and another person is singing and another person is performance or whatever, that's awesome, right? Because people want to share what they know. And if they don't want to share, you can know that ahead of time too. So you always kind of work that out ahead of time. And then probably the most successful one I've had with this is I've even had moments where these kids need the juice of a big win. So if the junior high or the high school is next to an elementary school, we'll walk over and we'll sing for a lunch.
Mm-hmm. For some real people.
For kids. and the grade school kids will lose their mind. And then the high school kids will sign autographs and walk back and we're freaking rock stars or whatever. You know, if we're an adult choir and like they need juice, we sing at a retirement home, we sing at a PTA meeting, we sing on the street, we sing in the mall. We just do something where we're in front of people, because a lot of times we get so used to being in rehearsal mode, we forget that we want to share our music with people, even if it's not at the level you want it to be, because so often we hold it, we protect it, we hold it, we wait, and now you get to sing for people, and now it's over. You know,
right. Well, it'll never be perfect.
Right.
Anybody who can listen carefully enough knows it'll never be perfect, and
That's
so
for sure.
you can't wait. Now it's me talking.
Yeah.
you can't wait until it's perfect, because then you'll never
Right.
share with anybody, right?
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Choir Genius for sponsoring this video. As a bit of a choral fanatic myself, I'm involved with an a cappella quartet, a choir, and a chorus right now, and they all use Choir Genius to automate basically everything: member management, communication, calendar and attendance, music and learning track distribution, and even registration, donor management, and ticket sales. It saves me and the whole team hours every week so we can focus on what we do best: filling up the risers with singers, signing on new donors, and yes, so I have time to memorize all of my music. I have so much music to learn. Anyway, it's incredibly cost-effective, replacing multiple tools with one simple solution. I know choirs where friends of mine have saved thousands of dollars per year. I don't trust everything I hear on the internet, but this is guaranteed. If you use Choir Genius and you don't save 80% of your time, they will give you your money back, so you really can't lose. Visit choirgenius.com and start your free trial today. Take control, save time, save money, and let your choir thrive. It seems really important that anybody who wants to really do something in one of these groups has to love learning, has to really get attached to the idea of learning and putting energy and focus into learning. What are some strategies that you use to get people to love learning?
Read.
Read what?
Read books. Read books about learning. Read Malcolm Gladwell stuff. Read things about great teachers, not necessarily musicians, just people that inspire you. Get excited about, I love watching the Olympics and watching, like, there's an air rifle event. There's a judo. What are these events? And it's just fun to find all these new activities in the world that people don't know about, and usually there's some sort of transference that can happen. It always happens. I remember watching British Baking, and Paul made this wonderful comment about how the bread rises at a certain speed, and I thought, it's so much like music. It's kind of like the Fibonacci sequence he's talking about. It's like it's the 7/8 thing. It's like, and I thought, that's a different way for me to think about crescendos, because I hate crescendos that look like this. I love crescendos that look like this. It was just kind of a fascinating thing for me to learn from him. I think the other thing for the choir directors out there that need inspiration is see mentors, see people that have success, and get help. Tom, you and I have sung in the barbershop style a bunch, and then other bunch of styles, and your success for sure has been around going, hey, I'm pretty good, but I'm gonna have people help me, and so often directors just assume it's the choir. And I got bad news for you directors. It's always us. It's always the director. We are the ones that have to grow. We have to lift up the choir. And if we don't, it's on us.
To me, this is the difference between a director that I actually enjoy singing for and one that I don't, is that if their first instinct, if something's going wrong, is to point the finger outward and to say, you didn't do this or you didn't do that, and come on, guys, come on, you got to try harder. That's right. It doesn't work very well.
Sure.
And they don't. I think they discredit themselves because they have so much power with what they can do with little adjustments. So I really enjoy when a director, their first instinct is, what did I just do that made that happen?
Exactly.
Right? Really empowers them more than the other way.
Yeah, it's really true. And sometimes people think that's being falsely modest, but it's the truth. If the choir I'm directing falls apart, that's my fault. I mean, there maybe something strange happened, but in general, it's my fault. And I didn't prepare them well enough, or I didn't anticipate what was going to happen. When we hand out music, a rookie teacher says, hey, let's start at the beginning. And a veteran teacher says, okay, here are the 4 spots I know are going to be challenging. So let's set everybody up for success, and we're going to scaffold this piece to this piece. Okay, that's a tricky key. Oh, that's a bell chord. Oh, that's a Eric Whitacre. Ooh, that's a weird moment. And then.
But I feel like that would require preparation.
Yes, it would require. There's that sarcasm, but it requires a lot of preparation, and that's where the director has to be the most prepared person in the room. You have to predict and know your people so that you can set them up to succeed, and they won't even know that you've thought all this ahead of time. They'll just think like, we are great, and that's fine.
Give them the credit.
That's right. It is them.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about loving learning and about curiosity, I think, was the topic in there. And I think people exist, as they do on many characteristics, on kind of a spectrum in terms of curiosity. You've got the ones who are over here who are absolutely eager to learn anything new and really get jazzed by that. And there's the ones over here that are like, just let me be in my area and I don't want to know anything else. And of course, maybe there's a way to get these people over here on that side of the curve,
right,
to do it. But how would you get these people to try to learn something new?
My second student teacher was an amazing musician. I'll just call him John, but he was a terrible modifier of his plan, because he had a plan and it worked correctly in his mind and it worked correctly with another group, but he forgot that he's working with people and these people will change. And so the piece I want to just remind the people on that side is, it's 2024, we have to modify. I was mentioning an episode or two ago that my first activity in high school choir get together is like, hey everybody, let's tell everybody your name, your pronoun, and I never did that. But it's 2024, so I do that now. That's me growing, not being dumb. That's just me adapting, and that's what we have to do as leaders. We have to constantly adapt. If you only have the same 4 songs that you take to contest year after year, you're missing a world of wonderful literature. Grow, learn new music, push yourself. It's fun, and that's why people do music till they die, and people stop sports when they're old because they can't keep doing it, but we can do it forever.
Absolutely. So if you've been motivated by somebody, why don't you write that person's name down in the comments? And if you're the motivator, if you have some great tips and tricks about how to motivate people, especially if they're hard to get motivated, why don't you write your tips and tricks down in the comments as well and share them with everybody? So let me ask you, in your experience, have you ever had that problem kid, problem adult in terms of getting them to be with the group and motivated and engaged? And if so, what did you do with those people?
Everybody has had this kid or this adult. And if you were to listen to one thing, I'd say in all of these series, I'd like you to listen to this one thing. That kid and that adult is a drainer to you. And the reason why I want you to know that is that drain on you makes you worse. And you are no longer a great director. You are now a person that their mind is filled with either rage or confusion or anger or something about that distraction. So one of the things I learned early on about these people, we call them disruptors, is the worst time to deal with them is during the rehearsal. The best time is before the rehearsal or on a phone call, or I usually take them out to lunch. Or if it's a kid, I meet them on the way to class, to my class, and I hit them at the door because I want my turf to be, you're entering my room. So I'm so glad you're here. Walk with me. And then we walk the other way and we sit in a big public space and we kind of chat a little bit. I kind of talk about, and I'm real. It's like, hey, I just feel like we got some weird energy. Have I done something? It looks like you're upset. Did you mean to be in choir? Like, oh, whatever, And so,
are you here on purpose?
Yeah. And every once in a while a kid says, no, my mom made me. Great. So you are welcome to be with us, but let's either have you be with us give it a try, or say, you know what, let's just stop now. And I'll walk you down to the counselor, we can get you out. And usually they'll kind of go, oh, he's trying to help me out. And every once in a while they go, yes, I would really like that. And then I win and they win because they see me as a caring adult saying, I would like you to stay, but if you don't want to be here, let's get you where you want to be. Or they go, oh, geez, okay, sure. And usually that does it. Other times they need a way to make a connection with another person. And so usually I am the way to connect them to other people. So they make a friend. And so usually that's, hey everybody, why don't you tell Aaron something funny that happened on the way home, you know, or whatever. And like all of a sudden Aaron's the celebrity or whatever it happens to be. Just something that is making that person safe, but a good guy. Or, oh, Aaron, I just saw you do the move. That was perfect. Could you show everybody the move? You know, or whatever. Sometimes it's turn to your neighbor and tell them something cool that happened. And Aaron, I know you got a good one, or whatever. And it's just trying to find positive ways to lift that person and to change the dynamic. And yes, that is teacher trickery. Yes, that is manipulative. And yes, it works. And and it's for their good. They're moving them from me and getting out of my head to being with the group. And that is good for them, and that's definitely good for me, because if I'm angry and if that kid or that adult is in my head, it drives me crazy. I had a adult going through Alzheimer's in a men's chorus, and he just drove me crazy. He just drove me crazy, and I knew that he was struggling with a mental, dementia and changes with Alzheimer's, and we were trying to figure out, well, what do we do with this kind man who is going through these health problems? It's like, once I learned to just let go and say, he's with us, he's part of the choir, he's here, his wife is waiting with, who cares? Just let him have a good time, And once I got there and stopped going, but he's singing flat, or what, once I could let go of that, it was great. And the choir was like so appreciative of me. And he didn't go with us on tour, and he didn't go to us on contests, but he was with us each week. And so I learned oh, he's disturbing to people by the sound, so I'll put him on the side, and then I'll put a friend next to him that doesn't mind helping him out on the side. So his voice isn't influencing others. And it was a total win. But that was me having to let go and change, because I have to love the group, not the way they are in my head, but the way they are.
I think I've heard you say before, somebody has to love the group more than they love the individuals.
Very much.
Right?
Right.
And so somebody has to protect that culture, and even if it means awkward conversations.
Oh, 100%. I'm with a wonderful group that just started up here 7 months ago. And they're elite singers and they're wonderful. And I probably called 8 of them, said, hey, it doesn't look like you're really up on your music.
Right.
Is this the right group? Should I refund your money?
And everybody rose to the occasion, I'm thinking?
And they all went, oh my God. But the problem is, when you join a group that is so much better than anything they've been in, why would I change? I can sight read better than everybody else. I mean, I can go into pretty much any group and sight read better than most of the people. So why would I prepare? But in this group, everybody else is also at that level. And so we're singing off book so quickly that there isn't the 8 months of singing on the risers. So it's 2 rehearsals and now we're off book. And so that change was great. And a lot of those people went, I've made the adjustment. I'm just used to behaving this way. I go, that's cool. I'm not trying to shame you. It just looks like this isn't the right fit. I just want to make sure we're cool. Do you understand what I want? And those kinds of conversations have to happen in private, and they have to be confidential, or you will betray the ensemble.
Thanks for joining me for the 4th video in our series on building a successful choir, and for watching all the way to the end. We'll continue the series in episode 5, where we will be discussing personal growth as a musical director. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified when the video drops. That's all for now, so be successful and keep on singing.